back in the days as well, I was doing everything on email as well because I was literally working from home with 2 kids, you know, under the age of 5. And I remember like...
So that's intense.
Yes, yeah.
That's intense.
Yeah. And I remember Harvey Nichols wanting to get on the phone to me, and I'm like, no, let's just keep to emails, you know. And even later on when we met the buyer, she goes, I honestly thought you were working in an office. Because again, in 2013, working from home was not a thing.
No. Hi everybody and welcome to FEBE Founder Stories, and I'm excited to be joined by Johnny and Pauline from Dr.PAWPAW. How are you?
Really good. How are you, John?
Do you know what? I love it how you're so branded for today as well. Like making sure that you're completely fitting in with. I mean, that is dedication to the cause, Pauline.
It's literally just a head on a chair.
The dress is the chair. The chair is the dress. Where does one end? Where does one begin?
But listen, I'm so straight away. I mean, I haven't stopped smiling. There's clearly a lot of energy with you guys.
Yes.
You're loving life, right? You're enjoying what you're doing. Husband and wife team.
Correct.
Yes.
So
yes.
Still,
yes. We survived.
So where do we start with this? I mean, the places where your products are now being stored are just like incredible.
Yeah.
This is the question I love asking entrepreneurs. Did you know when you started that you would be at this point, or do you fall in the category of kind of being surprised every day by, blimey, we're living this dream? Is this real? Tell us.
I would say we were pretty confident from the start that this was going to be a success, and it's not about being big-headed. It was, we looked at the market for a long time. We saw what was happening in, especially the category that most people would define us for being in, which is lips at the moment. It was pretty tired, pretty boring. There was the same thing being done all the time, and we've been that disruptive word. We are the disruption in the market in the lip category for being natural and vegan, for fun, bright, and that's energy that's coming from us into our products, from our team into the products. And so, yeah, I suppose we did feel that it was going to happen.
Multi-beauty products, that's how you describe what Dr.PAWPAW does, right?
Yeah, multitasking beauty, yes.
Multitasking beauty.
Yes.
I mean, we rehearsed that many times.
I know, it's okay. Yeah, it is multitasking beauty, a range of products that literally just do everything and for everybody. We are totally inclusive. We want everybody to be able to use it and have fun with the products, noting that they have got high performance and that they're natural and vegan.
So, yeah.
But I think it's funny though that Johnny thinks that, because I literally do always have like those light bulb moments, like, oh my God, is it really me? Even when I meet people and they're like, oh my God, I've got you in my handbag, and they literally pull out a tube and go like, peach pink is my favourite or mocha is my favourite. I'm just like, oh my God, I still go, oh my God, you're actually buying my product. So I agree with Johnny. I think I definitely wanted that and had that dream. But the fact that we're there, and obviously still don't think we've reached that, but I am always getting like those moments that it's like, oh my God, it's real.
When was the moment then that, I mean, did the product come before you together, or did it? When did this light bulb moment come then, in terms of with your relationship?
Yeah, so we were together before. We had our first order, Jasmine, and it was during that time. And again, I'm from the hair industry. Johnny's from the beauty and hair and PR industry. So we both had backgrounds sort of in beauty. The light bulb moment came when we had our first order, Jasmine, and she developed eczema. Yeah. Quite badly on her arms, and she was only about sort of 6 months, 7 months old at the time. And we took her to the GP and got loads of advice on products, which nothing worked.
And it's stressful, isn't it?
Yeah, when you've got a crying baby.
Or behind their knees, behind their ears. It's really horrid.
Awful, but we would go in the morning. There would be blood on the sheets from where she'd been scratching so much, because obviously she's 6 months old. She can't stop. Yeah. So we knew something had to be done.
But the reason why I say that, because just therefore from experience, I just mean it's so stressful, and you're so desperate for there to be something that helps alleviate this.
Yeah,
exactly. So thank you.
Yeah, no, definitely. And then the last straw was the GP said, well, we have to put her onto steroid creams.
Oh, okay.
And I know that other parents have had results of that, but we didn't want to go down that route. We're like, no, she's a baby. We don't know, steroids is quite a big ingredient, so we wanted to go down more of the natural route. And we had tried some other natural products, but again, to no avail. And, fortunate enough, I was brought up in Australia. And in Australia, they have the pawpaw fruit in loads of beauty ingredients, it's almost as common as what, you know, aloe vera is over here. And, you know, even when I used to take Johnny over there, he's like, what is this product that everybody uses? And I said, oh my God, it's the best, you know, because it's such a great ingredient, because the pawpaw fruit is antibacterial, it's anti-inflammatory, it's healing, it's soothing, it's everything you want out of a natural superfood ingredient. So I had some of the Australian balm there, so we tried it on it, and literally before our eyes, she just calmed down, because again, she was having one of those sort of, you know, where she was crying and screaming and trying to scratch, and I was like, no, literally put it on, and she just put her arms down and just looked at me and stopped crying, and I was just like, oh my God, this is real.
So that was the moment.
Yeah, that was the moment.
The super ingredient.
Yeah, that was the super ingredient, yeah. That was the moment that we'd tried other aloe vera products, we'd tried other, you know, moisturizing products, you know, and nothing had worked except for this ingredient.
So with your experience, combined experience in this industry, that was the moment when you were able to go, right, we can mobilize this and make this happen.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, that's where it all started from. We'd seen the product, we thought it was great. We thought then, well, we need to find a manufacturer. We went out and found a chemist. The chemist worked with Pauline to develop the product. In the background, I was working on the branding, the marketing, the decks that we would put out to retailers. One of the things that I think we learned quite early on was not to bring in a load of product and not have sales. So we made sure we went out to market, spoke to retailers. Would you be interested in purchasing this if we brought this in? And they all gave us the go-ahead. So within 6 months, we were in places like Harvey Nichols, Superdrug, Look Fantastic. Pauline was going on to QVC for the first time.
No way!
So,
very early on,
That's cool. What was that like?
Scary.
Yeah?
Really scary.
Is it live? Is it live?
Yeah, pretty much, yes. Yeah, because you've got to get the sales in like 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Really?
No, but you were live on TV.
Yeah, I was live on TV, yes.
And they were talking in your ear.
Sales. Yeah.
I was in the green room just watching all the sales happening, which was very exciting.
That was a nice job.
Yeah, you know, you talk about Selfridges and amazing brands like that, Boots, Superdrug.
That all came later.
That all came later.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I always love to extract learnings from this, because what we're really trying to create through everything we're doing is that entrepreneurs really supporting each other, whether that's physically meeting each other and sharing experiences, or actually just sharing great knowledge.
Couldn't agree more.
And that's what it's all about. That's how I get my kicks, because that's just the most exciting thing about this.
Yep.
You know, when you've got that pitch, that great big buyer.
Yeah.
Are there any great little tips you can give in terms of how you can just make sure you nail it?
Definitely. Two things. I mean, I always think, you hear about that old saying, mirroring.
Yeah.
Mirroring's really important. So if you meet somebody and, you know, they feel quite shy, you've got to try and bring them out of their shell. If they're quite loud, then you can go with them. So always just trying to really make them feel at ease. Don't talk about work for as long as possible.
Really?
Just relax and try and find out about them.
Even in a pitch?
Yeah, definitely.
Just chill.
Because, I mean, remember, before we did all the buyers meetings, we used to pitch to clients to win PR contracts. So, you know, this is quite essential, because you really need to get to know someone so you can call them when there is good or bad times to talk quite frankly. I think if you're too business-like, it can be quite difficult in future to have those tough conversations that you might need to have. But I would also say another top tip, which we particularly pride ourselves out, is taking them out of office and sales environments and just having fun. So, you know, taking them out to nice restaurants and, you know, having meals with them, so you get to really know these people. It's really important, I think, in business, because just too much of it is too clinical, too cold.
Yeah.
Too clinical, too cold. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
So you're saying invest in the... Do you know something? Small talk, right?
Yes.
But it almost gives the wrong impression of what small talk is. Small talk is actually really important. It's getting to know each other.
Yes.
So actually, maybe we need to come up with another word for small talk. It should be just like interesting talk.
Yeah, I think it's more like introductions, because if you just walk in, and into a pitch, especially if you've got like half an hour or 20 minutes, however long they go, and you just go, right, I'm Dr. PAWPAW, and boom, 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 you start selling at them straight away. There is no personal connection there. There is nothing. Yeah, and it feels quite cold, and you're just there for one reason, like you just want to sell at them, and who wants to be sold to, really?
Yeah.
Everything's kind of inadvertently, you know, you want to buy something because you want to buy it, not because you're being told to buy it. So we always, again, one of the plans we have is that there's always two of us. So somebody say like setting up and the other person's just standing there talking to them, just making eye contact.
You really
how
are
you?
you?
How have you got in? How have you done this? And so,
Works.
and even when we did it, or even if we do it with a team member, I'm like, right, either you could be the talker, because say like one of our sales team, and I've already had the communication with them, it's like, right, I'll set up, you engage because you've been chatting to them anyway, and I'll fiddle around with this and just have that 2-3 minutes talking to them, and then go, right, we're ready to start now.
Yeah. Okay.
There's nothing like that.
So you practice everything from not just the pitch, but I don't mean practice, because that makes it sound like
Plan.
you're clearly very authentic and natural.
Yeah.
But I'm saying you plan everything.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a much better word.
Yeah, sounding strange, I think visualize yourself being there and what you're, not necessarily what you're going to say, but visualize yourself being there and how it's going to be and what the meeting will be like and what the consequences are going to be.
Yeah.
So I think that generally does work for us as well.
Paul and Johnny, you are both in different aspects of, your industry's health, beauty, etc. What aspects, what roles did you have in those industries then, which therefore helped with this, with this product?
Yeah, so my last career role as a hairdresser was I had stepped away from the salon and I was working for a big company, well, of professionals. So within that big company, that big corporate company, we were also owned by Procter & Gamble. We were constantly bringing out new products. I was involved in the testing of the products. I was involved in evaluating them and getting people's feedback on it, heading that back, taking that information back to the chemists, to the scientists about what to improve and things like that, and then ultimately launching those products. So it was a really great team that I was in, because I would literally see it from white bottled samples, getting hairdressers to test it, testing it myself, asking them the questions, getting the feedback and doing that whole thing. And then literally by the day that we launched it then, and again, we'd have to launch it to our sales team, we'd have to launch it to other hairdressers, so like business to business, and then we'd have to launch it to the customers as well, particularly if it was a styling product or if it was a particular colour. So I learned how to speak all those different languages. Like if you're talking to a salesperson,
different languages you describe it,
completely different. How you talk to the sales team, to how you talk to the end consumer. So that was my whole sort of role at Weller Professionals, and I was doing that for about the last 13 years before we started. So that's how I got my experience in the manufacturing side.
And Johnny?
Public relations. I worked in PR for about 20 years, so started out just as an office junior and then worked my way up to becoming the managing director of the PR agency.
Cool.
But public relations in what you'll probably hear now is called 360 PR. So when we initially started, it was traditional PR services, but then we went into obviously social media and then digital marketing. So frankly, we were teaching businesses really how to grow their awareness and then thus sales. And we did that successfully for many brands. We did the PR for NutriBullet, which is obviously a huge business, High Street TV. We also worked with companies like Wetbrush, which is a huge American manufacturer. But always in the background, we were thinking we could do this ourselves, because we're showing them all this knowledge. We just need to find the asset, the innovation, the product that people want, so that we can do the same journey. And that's what we think we found with Dr.PAWPAW.
There's many things I love about this. I mean, I'd love to get into, okay, let's start with the fact that you two are clearly a team, which I just love. You're great mates, you're best mates, aren't you?
Yes.
And you happen to be doing business together.
Outside of work.
That's a massive benefit to be in business, right? And to do business. Because many great businesses have great co-founders, and I guess you guys have taken it to another level, being with each other, but there really does seem that great team dynamic between you.
It does. I mean, we give each other a lot of energy, because there's times where you can have a hard day, a hard month, a hard year even, and the other one can pick the other person up and say, don't worry, tomorrow's another day. There could be issues, whether it be with distributors or retailers, and it's just having somebody to bounce off. One of the things that I often hear from a lot of entrepreneurs is they feel abandoned, quite lonely. There's nobody to speak to, whereas we have each other. Which is a big help, a real big help, personally for me.
Yeah, no, definitely, I agree. Again, because we were best friends before. We dated for a long time. Then we got married, had kids, did all that. sort of before we started on this journey. So we kind of knew that we
That was
got
step
along.
one.
Yeah, we kind of knew that we got along.
Important step, tick.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. We're kind of
I like how marriage, dating, and children was just step 1. Goodness me, I felt like I was on step 12 at that point.
Well, it was a tried and tested formula. We got along. So I think in knowing that we both had the same ideas, we both had the same aspirations and the same desires, then it's like we've just always got each other's back.
Yeah.
No matter what happens, like Johnny said, whether it's a bad day, whether there's something with anything, it's like you just know you've got someone on your side. I mean, we tell each other we're wrong all the time. Don't get me wrong, and we don't always agree on things and how we want to do it. But again, that's just a compromise. You do and you don't.
Just tell me, how do you resolve the disagreements? Because it's really
I'm
bloody
always
important
right.
you guys do resolve the disagreements, I suspect.
Don't look at me.
So how we do it is I'm always right.
Yes.
And no, it's. I think it's with anything, even with like kids these days. It's like you've got to pick your battles.
Okay.
Don't you? You've got to let them win some, so that they feel like they're being independent. I mean, I'm not saying Johnny's like a child, but no. Okay, I think you have to pick your battles. You have to understand when that again with Johnny's expertise and with what he's doing, if he thinks that decision is right, even though I think it's not, then I need to trust in him and let him do it. But then it's like, okay, but if I give you this, then I want you to go this way on this. And so there's always that talk about, who's going to kind of get that win. And, it can't always be the one person, because what's the point of being partnership?
Yeah.
And you do have to, trust the other person's instinct and the other person's ideas sometimes.
Yeah, I think
as well.
we've probably worked out clearly defined roles now within the business as well. I mean, obviously we're still young enough, I'm talking about the age of the business, that we're looking after multiple areas of the business, but I clearly tend to take care of sort of financial, marketing and sales, whereas Pauline's new product development, manufacturing, warehousing, she's taking care of the product and what people think of it. So it's two clearly defined roles. I will have my tuppence. I'll come back and say, the retailers are saying this, I think this, the feedback is this. Hopefully sometimes Pauline listens to it. No, she does. And it's vice versa. Pauline will come to me and say, I really want to do this. It might be, investing in product or some new ingredients, and then I have to go and find the budget to do it. So it's very much, give and take.
But I think what made us strong is at the start we did everything.
Yeah.
Because it was literally us two, and it was literally us two that launched it, and then we had our first employee, which was somebody to just do accounts for us, because we're like, okay, that is not our strength. That is the first person we need to employ. So we've done the pitches, I've done the sales, I've helped the PR market, he's helped with meeting the chemists and what we want in the ingredients. So we totally understand each other's role, but it's just as we've grown now, we definitely had to separate it.
But I know everyone wants me to ask this.
Go on.
So we've got a 50-50 split decision here. Okay, we're at complete deadlock.
Shall I kick him now?
Well,
with the right answer.
who's going to win?
Who's going to win with what?
Whose decision is basically going to get put forward? And
if we had a 50-50,
depends.
if we had a 50, I think if it was in, say, Pauline's side of the business, I'd probably go with what she said. So let's say she
So
bought...
you split them significantly that way.
Yeah,
Yes.
so, if she's looking after the MPD and she's got 3 products that she's decided, she says to
That
me,
we're
which
testing,
one do you like? And I say this one, and obviously Pauline goes with the opposite. I tend to say, it's your expertise knowing what our customers will want. Whereas if it's on the sales side, I'm obviously taking care of the margins and making sure that we're profitable.
Through these interviews, you meet people at different points in their journey of life in terms of when they start the business. For example, someone quite recently, they started, right straight after university, no overheads, living with their parents, etc. You guys started a business when you've got a lot of responsibilities to each other, being married, but then kids and what have you. So you really did take big risks to start this, right? Because there's a lot on the line if it didn't work. So again, that gives us some indication here of the belief and the courage and the belief and conviction that you guys have.
Well, I mean, interestingly enough, I was still running the PR agency alongside Dr.PAWPAW for the first 5 years, and that was to mitigate some of that risk.
Okay.
But at the same time, it was also my greatest tool for winning all my PR clients because they were saying, who's doing the PR for this brand? It's everywhere. And then it would come back to us, and then they would say, oh, so, you know, when did you start doing PR for this brand? And we would say, no, we created it. And so
huge respect.
It would get a lot of respect. We won a lot of major accounts, and so that really did protect us. But I mean, of course, if it hadn't have gone well, then that could have really affected, you know, the sort of respect people had for the PR agency. But I mean, we did put money into the business. We put a lot of time, soul, and effort into it. So that's where the risk was initially. But yeah, it's been a fantastic journey.
And I think I gave up sort of my career first because I was like, you know, we need to make this work. We can't afford to necessarily hire a team to do this. Again, you know, back in the days as well, I was doing everything on email as well because I was literally working from home with 2 kids, you know, under the age of 5. And I remember like...
So that's intense.
Yes, yeah.
That's intense.
Yeah. And I remember Harvey Nichols wanting to get on the phone to me, and I'm like, no, let's just keep to emails, you know. And even later on when we met the buyer, she goes, I honestly thought you were working in an office. Because again, in 2013, working from home was not a thing.
No.
And, you know, I wanted Harvey Nichols to think there was a team behind me, and I was like, oh, I'll just get my assistant to do this, even though it was one email address. But, you know, you had to make that belief.
What's the saying? Blag it to make it, right?
Yes, exactly, exactly. Yeah. But again, it was just lucky because then I was at home, that I was able to be more reactive, that I wasn't doing a 9-to-5 job like Johnny and then coming home and then trying to pick it up. So I was there being reactive, obviously in between nappies and feeding and whatever else. But thank God for emails.
Pauline did our trademarks
really
whilst looking after our first daughter, amongst all the nappies. She did the Madrid protocol.
Well, no, that was Jackson, remember?
Yeah, Jackson, sorry, yeah.
You're super.
We launched, we launched after we had our second, well, you launched while I was still pregnant with Jackson, but by the time that came about, I had both of them at home. So, I had to learn how to protect our logo and IP. So I set up all our intellectual property and trademark, not only here, but in Europe and the US, because we knew quite quickly we wanted to try and hit the US market.
Well, I have so much respect for that. With FEBE, we've done the same, and it's quite a big process to do all that protection, isn't it?
We wanted to have the freedom of also sort of being there for the children, because I soon learned quite early on with our first daughter that travelling into London, in a central London, in say a 9-to-5 job that wasn't really 9 to 5, because you have to be there at 8 o'clock to open up, and shows can run late, and anything can run late, and you know you're racing back to pick up your daughter from childcare. It really wasn't why we chose to become parents. So we wanted that freedom to do that. So either one of us still does the school run.
Really?
Like every day. Yeah, we do not have like a full-time nanny or anything like that. And we definitely juggle it a lot, like depending on, you know, who's got the 9 o'clock meeting or who needs to be in London by like 9 a.m. It's like, you know, if Johnny's got a meeting, then obviously I'll do the school run, but sometimes I do. So he's like, right, I'll take the kids this morning.
Okay.
And then vice versa. Generally, I always pick them up, but there are some times that I need to be there later, or like when Jackson's doing football, you do it. So we literally are like a team with that, because, you know, I mean, Jasmine's now in year 6, so this is her last week of primary school. And when it comes to like, you know, secondary school, she's not going to want us picking her up and helping with her homework. So like, literally, that's it now.
I'd want you picking me up. You're cool parents. If that's any consolation.
But you got to ask the children, though. They don't think that.
But I think what Pauline's talking about there is that we've then managed to emulate this into our team. So we have such a diverse team of people. We have mums who obviously are part-time. They're going to and from the school, picking the kids up, dropping them off, obviously coming to work, and they're just so excited to be working for such a major, you know, beauty international brand. And I think, you know, the real mix of people that we have there is what makes our culture. So we've got this fun atmosphere that we always try to keep in place. You know, it's the little things I think that matter. I mean, like, you know, we have Starbucks runs, you know, most days. We have,
nice.
Well, I mean, it just gets everybody going. They don't realise that we're energizing them. You know, we have summer and winter parties where we have inspirational speakers to come in and tell their story, so they can feel, you know, excited about where this business is going. Just even on the walls, there's just really positive messages all around, just reminding them of why they're here and where we're going. We keep the office looking like a home, so there's rugs everywhere, you know, there's always music playing, you know, we've got all the windows open, we have an office dog.
Lovely. What's the dog's name?
Luna. Her name
Big shout out to Luna.
Luna. Where not my mum, Luna. And I think this culture is something that, I mean, we are fun, energetic people, and so we've tried to build a team that feels the same and that knows the journey that we're on. And another key thing for us is that we don't tend to call them team, we tell them they're our colleagues. So there is no hierarchy. We are all together on this same journey.
That's really important, is it? That there isn't that hierarchy.
Really important. If we ever hear ourselves saying the word staff, we always, no,
do you know what? I
that.
don't like that word either. I'm
It's
really glad you said that. It's an
really
awful word.
Yeah.
Stop saying staff, everybody.
Yeah. Well, or even like, you know, I'll have there's a lady, Emma, who's in our PR team, and she'll say, "Okay, boss," and I'll say, "Don't, please."
So what? So what is the other team? People? What I mean? What?
I mean, even if I'm corresponding on an email, I'm not saying, "Oh, I'll get one of my staff to call you." I'm like, "I'll get one of my team to call you, or I'll get my colleague to call you."
Yeah. Yeah,
like, it's so much nicer.
Colleagues.
I love this.
I mean, I do like team because I think we really are a team and we'll get it together, and it doesn't matter about hierarchy. Like, you know, we don't have an office like manager, we don't have juniors, you know, everybody kind of knows, you know, their role, and you don't need to, you know, sort of, you know, label it like that. And so we are a team, and I think definitely lockdown taught us that, because we had, you know, people from, like, say, like the marketing side or the event side helping with the customer services and you know, the warehousing, things like that, because they were the mums that were having to homeschool, and then they were answering emails, you know, like afterwards. So we all kept working, and everybody kind of like job shared then, definitely.
Yeah.
And I think everybody got a really good respect of everybody's roles. I think they did anyway, because we've always been a small team, so we've always been able to communicate what each person does. I don't think there's anybody in the office that goes, "Well, I don't know what she does or he does."
Yeah.
You know, everybody does know, because we've grown like a small team and just added to it. But it definitely brought more respect to how difficult customer services is, or how difficult PR is.
Yes.
You know, so
Yeah.
that was good.
So Dr.PAWPAW is becoming very famous. You know, it's getting known, isn't it? It's getting out. It's just the name it's a great name.
It's the pawpaw fruit,
Paw fruit
that we call it in Australia, but you guys probably know it more as papaya.
Papaya.
Over here, it's papaya.
I didn't know it was
Yes.
papaya.
Yes. But it's like the
Very
same way
tasty fruit.
you guys say
Yes.
courgette, we used to call it zucchini.
Okay.
Over there. Yeah, so it's the papaya pawpaw fruit.
So, I mean, I'm really sorry if I'm a bit late to the party on this, but Dr.PAWPAW, obviously the healing properties of the pawpaw. I mean, the name is genius.
Exactly.
I love it.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you.
But anyway, it's getting known. It's out there. What does the future look out there for now that you've started to create this really great foundation from which to really kick on and build something truly special?
Yeah. I mean, if you're just talking about next plans.
Why not? However you want to slice and cut it.
The problem with us is that we just want
No pun intended.
We
I
want
just
to.
thought-
Yeah,
I did not mean that. by the way.
Very good.
Yeah, you would have cut
Yeah,
it.
but obviously my brain's thinking quite quickly. I'm quite proud.
we just want to conquer the world with it, because you know, we think it's a great story, it's a great product, and in the category that I mentioned earlier, lips, it's been the same old. So
Yes.
it's like a fresh thing that can be really sold to the entire world. By the way, British manufactured as well. So you know,
Fabulous.
You know, so we're doing our bit for the UK economy. But I mean, at the moment we launched in the US a couple of years ago, and we really want to develop that market. We're going to a number more doors at the end of this year, which is really exciting. We are expanding a bit more in Europe, which is good. It's taken a long time. Brexit didn't help that much, but it's now growing again. And then we are entering the Chinese market at the end of this year as well. The legislation changed there on testing on animals, so you don't have to test on animals to be in China anymore. So we've just signed a distribution agreement with a major Chinese distributor.
So this is massive.
So we're really excited about
Well done.
you know, what that will bring to us as well. And if you just think, I mean, that's sort of 3 real key targets for us. But I mean, aside of that, there's product development ideas, ranges planned, and
so definitely. So the lineup is not finished.
Is it
by
not?
any stretch of the
Not
imagination.
anywhere near finished.
No, nowhere near finished. But you know, again, we have to take it slowly, because it is just us. You know, and you know, so we always sort of have to make the money then to make the product. But yeah, no, I've got loads of ideas. There'll be new product launches every year. Definitely some are 2 to a year. And yeah, we could do, because pawpaw fruit is such a superfood. It's so good, not only for your face, but your body, your hair, your children, right up to your grandparents. It's a totally inclusive like product and ingredient that, the sky's the limit. So my brain is like, there's loads of things that we're going to bring out.
You get great inspiration from looking outside of your field. You know, some people are always saying like, look inside your field, i.e. beauty, to find your inspiration. But I think we take great inspiration from other areas. Look at what other people are doing, whether it be food, whether it be service, and just seeing what people do. And I notice how people always put this slogan underneath their logo just to completely define what it is they do. I mean, some people, you have a great logo that you recognize, but just something that says everything. And so we feel like we have that with multitasking beauty.
Yes, of course, I get it.
You know, I mean, if you think, I mean, this doesn't sound great, and Pauline's not going to like me saying this, but there is multitasking cleaning products which have been around for many, many years, and people will, you know, use something around the house that will do many, many jobs. So we're not comparing that to our skin, but we are trying to take that concept that something can do so many great things. It means you buy less plastic, less cardboard. You know, you've got one thing that can do so many things, I think is what's really exciting.
When you start to create a brand and a product that gets seen, that gets loved by people, it starts to create interest. Okay,
Yes.
and I'm sure there have been, you know, moments where you're having people knocking on your door saying, "This sounds really interesting. Would you be interested in maybe selling a share to us?" I don't know, but what is it like when that happens? And you know, is it a temptation?
So we've won a couple of major awards in the past couple of years that have really brought a huge amount of interest to the business, which sort of quite shocked us, really.
Really?
I would say at the time we weren't thinking of it because we were just trundling along and so happy. But the good thing is it does make you stop and think, which it made us do. We then assessed what our business was doing, and you know, if we were to do this, what would it look like and how could we grow it? So, you know, what we've now done is really looked at the business, the plans. We now actually have a 5-year plan in place of what we think we should be turning over in 5 years, you know, what it looks like in terms of profits, etc. And so I think, you know, we're saying never say never.
Yeah, never say never, but we're definitely not ready to step away yet.
You're having too much fun.
Like I said,
Yes.
We're having too much fun. It's giving us the freedom that we wanted to have, such a young family. And like I said, there are so many ideas that I want to bring to the table. There's no way I could let anybody else do it just yet.
Pauline, you're Australian. Obviously, you've been here for a long time. What are we Brits like? I'm just intrigued. What are we like, you know, to as a nation, just from an outsider perspective?
Yeah, no, I think what I love about London and the UK is it's just so diverse.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying Australia isn't, but it's like, it's a little, well, it's a massive island, a long way away. Whereas here, you're so close to Europe, you know, you're so close to so many other like great countries and continents around that it is just so diverse. And even going from city to city is so different. Like everything looks different. You could almost be stepping into a different country when you go around to some of the major cities. And I just think it's that diversity that it's interesting. Like there's never a dull moment.
I don't think we appreciate how much our time zone really works for the rest of the world, you know, because we can obviously work in the UK, we wait till 1, 2 o'clock and we can start talking to the US in the afternoon. But if we get in early enough, 8 o'clock in the morning, you can talk to Australia. You know, by 9, 10 o'clock, you can talk to Hong Kong.
So you can do a 24-hour day, really?
You really can. You really can. I'm shattered by 4, so I stop. Everyone swaps over. I'm a morning person, but that's what's so great about, you know, British businesses. We are, you know, at the centre of the time zone, really.
And that's what makes
we created that.
global domination more of a possibility.
Whereas on the other side, you know, in Australia, it's like you'd be talking all through the night. You would literally be trying to do business with the rest of the world.
Really?
America, Europe, UK would be all through the night.
Surely you have plans to take this great brand to Australia, maybe?
Yeah, I think we do. I think we do. And just to say, I mean, there's so many amazing Aussie businesses that do work through the night and making calls at all crazy times of night. But yeah, we definitely would like to go to Australia one day. I mean, I think when we first started, we were literally going everywhere because we were young and just we could conquer the world, which we still feel. But I think what we've learned now is that every market that we enter needs support, it needs time, it needs cash injections to really grow it. So we want to do everything bit more slowly and properly.
Yeah.
I think almost at the start, like we were definitely yes people.
Really?
We're like, yeah, if anybody said we want to buy you, we're like, yes, we'll sell it to you. Yep, no worries, right, here it is, how much, you know. We were literally like
The Aussie accent's coming through there, hasn't it? No worries.
Just for you, but I think rather than being like scared to do it, or scared, like, yes, I know we had a lot on our plate, but like I said, Johnny kept his job, I gave up my job. So it's like, do you know what, if it all, you know, doesn't work, then I will just get another job, you know, in the hairdressing. That was basically our thing. We didn't like sell our house and invest all the money into it. We're like, right, you keep working, I'll see what we can do, you know, and that's how we did it. But instead of being scared of taking that leap, we just said yes to everything. It was almost like we were like innocently fearless. But then you start to make mistakes.
Yes.
And then you're like, right, okay, you know, we shouldn't have quite gone into that territory and we should have maybe done a bit more, you know. But every mistake we've learnt from, and that is why we're sitting here today. Like, we are such big believers. I'd rather make a mistake and learn from it than you know, go through life and never know.
Yes.
So, or wonder like, what if we said yes to that person? What if, you know?
Yeah.
So when you know it doesn't fit, you just, you know, and you can come back from that, I think.
I was going to say, I think sometimes we've made mistakes and now it's made us quite endearing to some of the people when we're going back into a territory because we're so open about it.
Yeah.
You know, we'll say, you know, we came into this country too early because somebody said that they could do it. We didn't know their setup. They maybe hadn't been big enough to do the job that we needed them to do. So we just hold our hands up and we'll say, but we'll do everything we can to fix it with you and support you. And they genuinely love that support. So, you know, I think the thing that we get a lot of the benefit of is that we are the co-founders, and so that these countries, distributors and retailers that we talk to, they are still talking to us. And what I like what you said is that you're talking to our team and it feels so energetic and buzzy. Well, that's good because that's coming down, you know, it's going up and it's going down. It's just like this one big...
It's really important to you.
Yeah, you know, Pauline always talks about being kind in business, and I know it's a bit of a cliche now. And
I
maybe
can
a
feel
bit,
it's so authentic to what...
It's maybe a bit...
The energy you guys project there.
But it can be a bit cheesy and whatnot, but I think it's so important, you know, even when somebody's having not a great day. And I think having empathy, I suppose, is another thing. So if you can tell somebody's not having a great day, just take a step back, try and think about what they're going through in their day. And I think that's what makes us resonate so well with other businesses, because we just, you know, we think about what they're thinking, what they're going through. I think it's so important.
Yeah.
And our team.
And your team.
Yes.
Our colleagues.
You guys are clearly having the best time of your lives. It's very evident. It's very infectious. And it's making me just so excited to see where this brand is going. But also what I love about it is just the team dynamic between you two.
Yeah.
It's so cool. It's lovely.
Thank you.
And I think it's a big lesson, really, because it's obviously your co-founders, you're together.
Yes.
But it's just, you know, you've really got to invest in making sure that you bring the best out in each other. And you respect what each other bring to the party.
Yeah, I think actually a top tip, which I think we've got better at in more recent times, is just taking a step out to congratulate each other for the work that we are doing, because for years we wouldn't. It was always on to the next thing. But I think now we take the time out to think, we did that, you know, which is incredible. Where we've had a really tough time and we've solved it, to take that time out and go, we fixed this, which I think is, you know, just people don't do it because you're just always in a rush, moving on to the next thing. So do take time out.
Yeah, and I also think on the back of that as well, which is something we've got better at, is we were always congratulating our team.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? We were always like, you know, like say giving them awards or bonuses, or, you know, just even a well done on the team, you know, WhatsApp. But you just take it for granted, like, you know, how much actually Johnny's driven that business, or how much, you know, Johnny got that deal, or things like that. So we've actually started saying, like, no, well done, Johnny, like, I'll say it, you know, or I'll do
Johnny
something.
likes that.
Because
Now this works.
because obviously I'm like living and breathing all his decisions anyway, because we do talk about it, you know, but you forget to say, actually, you know, well done, that was your instinct. I disagreed with you on that. But you know what? You did it anyway, and you've done it greatly.
Yeah,
so
cool.
I think that, and you're getting better at congratulating me.
Yes, congratulations on picking me.
Congratulations on agreeing with me.
Yes.
No. It's just it is something that we had to stop taking each other for granted and actually just stop and appreciate what they've done.
Appreciate what you've got.
Johnny, you're awesome. Pauline, you're awesome.
Thank
Together
you.
with Flippin' Epic. So
Oh,
I'm just
brilliant,
so
thank
excited
you.
for where this brand's going to go. And can't wait to see you in every single shop everywhere,
Yes.
and in all these amazing countries all around the world, because you deserve it.
Thank you.
Best of
Thank you
luck.
so much.
Thank you so much for having us.